Hi guys, welcome back to Perfectly Imperfect HOSA podcast. My name is Vanessa Liu and today I have Netta with me. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Netta. I'm a transformative coach and a Clarity Catalyst instructor. I've been teaching adults for the last 4 years a course on mindfulness and emotional intelligence. And today I'm so lucky to be here with Vanessa to talk about life circumstances, life issues that come up for many of us. And I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Let's get to our first question. So, do you want to talk more about why you became a transformative coach and what inspired you to be here?
Oh, I'd love to. Absolutely. Just like anything in life, we go through ups and downs. We go through certain traumas and we go through certain trials and tribulations. And about 4 years ago, in a few weeks, I lost my dad to sepsis. And he died within 4 months of him being diagnosed with that. And my father was the pillar of our family. My father was the go-to. He was the missing puzzle piece of the community. And when I lost my father, I didn't know who to turn to, what to do, and how to express these grieving emotions, because it was a new terrain, right? So one day I was in the deepest pits of hell, and not knowing how to navigate this grief and this heaviness. So my dad actually came to me in my dream and said to me, "What are you doing? You have a gift. Go share it with the world." And so that's when I became a coach. And since then, I've been doing this passionately for the last 4 years.
Wow, that's amazing to hear.
Thank you.
How would you define perfectionism and how is it different from simply striving for excellence?
So perfectionism, it's something that I think we all as human beings acquire to strive for, because that's a title that people or society places on us to be accepted or have some type of validation. So with perfectionism, it doesn't exist, because if that was our leading factor, I think we would all be in this perfectly cookie cutter world where there were no problems or issues. When we strive for excellence, we are tackling it as a way of navigating through different possibilities. So we try an outcome. If this wasn't received well, we try something else. We kind of step back and reset and figure out, okay, what's another avenue that we could go towards, or what path, and then try that again. So striving is something that is done with a purposeful, meaningful goal.
What are common signs that someone might be struggling with perfectionism?
Oh, this is a great question. What are some signs? Constant, frantic. Like they have this frantic feeling as if they're in a race against time, and if they don't accomplish this specific task, that they're a failure, or they have these constant self-sabotaging or a setback when it comes to this deadline. And when they actually can't get there because they're so focused on getting it done, and getting there is actually exhausting. So they're constantly depressed. They have signs of fatigue, signs of, I said depression, signs of low emotional intelligence and bad decision-making skills, and constant triggers, and very edgy, and it could be very moody in a way. So that way they're not really easy to be around, and they're heavy feeling to be around.
What are some effective strategies for managing perfectionistic tendencies?
So good question as well. So we all have tendencies as adults, as teenagers, living in the society of wanting to be validated. So these tendencies can be navigated through deep breathing, meditation, journaling, talking to like-minded people that maybe have experienced these type of stressful event, and just being around those who can support you through it and give you really real life tips and tools that will get you to your ultimate destination.
So how can people balance setting high expectations for themselves but also being kind to themselves?
So that's the best thing. So being kind and having high expectations do not mesh well, because realistically, we cannot expect our partner, our children, our siblings, our parents to do what we want, because we're ultimately different people at the end of the day, and we do things differently and sometimes accordingly. And we all have our own little habits and niches and a niche that we do, how we do certain things. So striving towards that is, I would say, drop any expectation, because that doesn't exist. Because if we were going to have expectation in anything we go through in life, we're going to be disappointed constantly, because the result that we get is not going to be what we're looking for. So being kind to yourself is dropping that expectation and just letting it unfold naturally. And that's the best part, just letting it be and having it come to you as it should. Yeah, because that's the best part of life, is because the most unexpected thing in life can be the most kindest thing for us.
What would you say to students in this society now about high expectations and high academic pressures?
Yes, so that's a great question, because today's society and pressures are at an all-time high, especially when it comes to suicidal rates. That's extremely alarming now because of the of society and the social media, especially. I would tell definitely the high school students, either entering high school or exiting high school and getting into college, is that have fun with it. Have realistic goals set for yourself that can be attained, that can be accomplished with the help of an advisor, with the help of parents, with the help of someone that maybe your therapist, someone that you trust and confide in, that will help navigate the way with you. So enjoy the experience, because it's once in a lifetime. And when you eventually graduate and get into the real world, often I hear, oh, I wish I could just go back one more time and just enjoy the 4 years that I had. So just drop any expectation, enjoy it, go to anyone that you feel reliable, that has your best intention at heart, and has your whatever you are striving for at heart, and wants you to succeed. So go to anyone that's trustworthy.
Okay, and that leads me to my next question about how social media impacts mental health, specifically with perfectionism.
Well, that's another big one, especially that's driving force of today, right? Is the social media aspect, and how everybody has a phone and we're on that device constantly. I would say drop it as well. It's not real. It's not. Social media is a fake. It's a fraud. It's a life that is painted pretty. It's sculpted pretty, but it's that apple that when we bite into, but the other side is all perfect and shiny, but it's really that apple where it's dissolved, it's rotten, it's not the way it's meant to be. So I would say drop the social media expectation of a life, because that doesn't exist. And if you're gonna keep trying to find that, you're gonna spend your whole life looking.
With perfectionism, a big symptom is procrastination. What advice would you give to people who are procrastinating, especially students with their schoolwork?
Absolutely. So these people I call procrastination Patty, or sometimes perfectionist Patty. But we have these tendencies, or these sub-personas, I would say. Once we label them, we can tame them. With this procrastination, and I say that give yourself 30-minute buffer, or 15 to 30-minute buffer, to get something done, whether it be driving to the store, picking up the kids, or to the high schoolers out there, waking up 15-20 minutes early, giving yourself that buffer, so that way you're not frantically trying to get to school, drive fast, and find your books, and find your backpack, or find your phone that you may be misplaced, or find your keys. So with procrastination, we have 24 hours in a day. That's a lot of time. And because we're not taught to structure, we're not taught to prioritize, and we're taught limited ways to prioritize and what to prioritize. So once we get to that space in life where we prioritize, sometimes one task, sometimes two. And I would say to people, even to my college students and my high schoolers that I've been working with, do not prioritize more than 3 tasks, okay, in a day. because it gets overwhelming and it gets really stressful, and then that's where your gremlin, your thoughts start to come in and really kind of have you sink low in your emotions and kind of give up. So prioritize at least 1 to 3 tasks a day that are realistic and that you can accomplish. And if it doesn't get done, it's okay. You have tomorrow to try. So what is it that's priority? And I would say it's like an appointment that you cannot cancel.
Mm-hmm.
So place yourself as a priority, like an appointment that you cannot cancel, just like we wait to see a specialist, right? For months sometimes. So place yourself as a priority you can't cancel.
Yeah. What are some daily habits or routines that promote mental well-being?
I would definitely say make your bed every morning. Make your bed, because that sets the tone of your day. And once you make your bed and you feel like everything else is in flow and harmony, especially your bedroom, it starts in your bedroom because a lot of us spend our time there, right? So if your bedroom is not in flow and it's not in harmony, that's how essentially your life's going to be. It's going to be all in shambles. It's all going to be like, if it's clothes on the floor, clothes hanging from the closet, dirty laundry, and papers everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
that's how essentially you're living your life. Like people think it's chaotic or constructive chaos. It doesn't exist. Really, you're living your life in that way. Once you start within your bedroom, then the rest of your day just flows. So pick one thing in your room that you can straighten up,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else will follow after.
Okay.
Because it takes 21 days to build a healthy habit.
I know
Yeah.
for me, I have to keep my room clean to like
Yeah.
think well and be like fine. Like if I get home from a long day and my room's like a mess, I just don't feel good.
Yeah, and you don't want to go in it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all that like cluster, and it's just not in harmony.
Yeah.
So once it's in harmony and you go into that room, you're like, oh, you take that deep breath and then you're just like, oh, this is so beautiful. And you just lay on that bed and you're like, oh, this is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how life needs to be. We overcomplicate things and we just need to really look at the things that matter.
Do you have any lasting words of wisdom or advice for our listeners?
Take it slow. There's someone always out there that has it worse than you. Count your blessings each and every day, and it's hard for us to sometimes to see that, especially when we're in a time of perfectionism or getting things done and wanting to be accepted or have some type of value by the things that we have. Like society wants us to have all these material things, and that's how we feel valid in some ways. So I would say definitely go to someone that you trust, someone that you seek, you seek and you put in high regard, and ask the questions that's on your mind, and really be authentic with yourself. Like, what do you really want? And no one needs to know that you're in therapy. No one needs to know if you're seeing a transformation coach or taking a course to better yourself, or reading some self-help or self-improvement books. Keep that private to yourself. Keep that to yourself, because it's going to give you the glory, give you the stamina, and give you the courage to say, hey, I'm doing this for myself and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
So keep some things private. Not everything needs to be shared. So that's what I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's good advice. Okay, so for high school students out there struggling with like fitting in and these high expectations for themselves, like what have you observed? What do you see, and what advice do you have?
So it's just be yourself. Buying those fancy shoes or that belt or those clothes is going to give you temporary pleasure, temporary satisfaction, or wanting that car so bad. Well, if you want that car so bad, it's okay to save for it and really know that you're working hard. And once you get that and you achieve that, you're going to appreciate it because you've worked so hard for that item, for that thing that you're wanting so bad. So I would say, disassociate from anything that's temporary, whether it's clothing, cars, gadgets, because that's not going to give you, that's only going to give you actually temporary pleasure. That slight dopamine drop, and then when you start getting these dopamine drips, you kind of get addicted to it, and then that's when these self-sabotaging behaviors start coming in.
Okay.
So yeah, just be yourself. Don't prove yourself to anyone in the world. You don't need to prove that you're valuable. Just you're here for a reason, and you're here for a purpose, and one day you'll find it. But not through clothes or material items.
Yes, yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, yeah. With the labels, here comes what comes in is the status, right? Where we want to be placed. And if you really think about it, if you take away anyone's title, degree, what school they went to, whatever position they hold, take that away, strip it, and they're just a regular human being. We put on our pants one leg at a time. We eat the same foods. We breathe the same air. We bleed the same. So we're technically just regular, ordinary human beings, just a temporary entity trying to be the best, trying to feel and fill this happiness. But we do it along the way where we feel contentment, because contentment is all we really need, is to be okay with what we have currently.
For people who have high expectations for themselves and are like seeking this like external validation, what would you say to them who are dealing with like people not accepting them or treating them the right way?
So I would definitely say that you have to walk in every day as if it's a new day. Look at that person or those people with grace, because they could be going through something as well that we don't know about. So just walk in every day as if it's a new moment, a new experience, and you have the choice to stop, notice, and choose either to step away, just take it as it is. Be kind, not nice, because the difference because kind is different than being nice. Nice is where your people pleasing tendencies start coming in. Being kind is just doing as a gesture. Okay, that gesture could be that distance. That gesture could be maybe good morning, and then you say your goodbyes. That's it. So you have a choice to choose how you want to maybe handle that person, by stepping away or giving yourself that distance, and kind of changing your perspective, saying that person could be going through something as well, and they don't know how to handle it. So when I come around, they see me maybe as a target to pick on because maybe they're being bullied at home or being bullied at school or in the workplace. We have the choice to stop them and say, hey, is there something that you really want to talk about? You can approach it in a way where it could be subtle and where they can have a space to talk, or you just let it go and then you just kind of do your own thing and not really associate with them. So just choose. You have a choice.
As a life coach, what are your clients usually asking about? What mental health related things are they seeking from you?
So my seekers, they usually have the questions of how to be in harmony, how to be in flow, how to live in peace and have that inner peace from within. And that clarity, because that's the key, right? Is clarity in life. And that's what we typically focus on. And I always tell my clients, tell my students that want to seek clarity, is that we're always going to have stress. I'm here to break it to you. Stress is never going to go away, but we do have the tools to keep it low level, and how to be productive in our day when stress wants to come out and play, how we keep it at bay, and how to still continue to strive and be the best we could be.
So this isn't really mental health related, but I met you 2 weeks ago and you didn't have the hijab on. So do you want to tell us your story with that?
So I would love to. Oh my God, my pleasure. So my journey started about 4 years ago when my father, God rest his soul, passed away. And he was always the backbone and the figure of teaching us what Islam's about and what being a Muslim represents, or what it is. So my journey started way back when, but I dove deep into it after he passed away. And so I've been on the spiritual journey and growth for the last, I would say, 4 years. And this year, on January 1st, 2025, is when I decided to free myself from expectations of society, of what it is to be a professional, what it means to be a public figure and to dictate my own life.
Yeah.
And to make my own decisions based on my needs, my wants, my goals, and to please God and to shorten that distance between Him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm here to tell you that anything is possible, and how that happens is being realistic, is being authentic, and seeking the truth.
Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast episode, and especially thank you for Netta for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I can't wait to do more of these with you guys in the future. I think 2025 is going to be a beautiful, blessed year.
Yes.
And if any of you guys have any questions, please follow me on Instagram, or if you have DM me with any questions, AAC_HLC. I'll reply to you as soon as I can. And I'm sure the girls will also, they'll have the information as well in this podcast. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to work with you guys in the future.
Yeah, of course. And we also have a workshop planned coming up at Troy Athens High School, so stay tuned for that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.